Guys, Shane here with My Movie Geeks again. It's been a kind of a dead time for movies lately. During the spring, from the winter on to now, we don't have a lot of reviews up. I've seen a few films, but I just haven't had the time to put them up. I'm going to try to go to a video format from now on. But today I want to talk about John Carter. It's a film that is based on Edgar Rice Burroughs' book, Princess of Mars, from 100 years ago, from 1912. I think one of the problems with this movie is how to market it, or how they've tried to market it, because it's really something that inspired Star Wars, Star Trek, Avatar. It was the original creator of Tarzan. So one thing I noticed with the marketing was, how do we grab people to watch this movie? How do we know who's going to really enjoy this film? And I was a little concerned myself going into it, but I'm happy to say it was a fantastic ride. John Carter is a fantasy sci-fi film, kind of like the 80s sword and sorcery type movies. Had a little bit of Dune. You can see inspirations of Star Wars and Avatar in there, even though it was actually written 100 years before those stories. There's been comic books out. I think there was 10 novels out. The comics ran from 77 to 79, like this one here, John Carter, Warlord of Mars. But I'm happy to say that I had a great time with it. I brought my two 7-year-old sons, and we just had a blast. You know, watching it open up in the 1800s, being true to the source material. The soundtrack was fantastic. Andrew Stanton, who did Finding Nemo and WALL-E, this was really his first live-action movie, so I didn't know if he could pull it off like Brad Bird did with the new Mission Impossible, but I was very happy with it. I had a great time. And it's really one of those movies that, by the trailers, you don't really know what to expect. The average person or consumer is not going to know anything about the story. So going into it, if you really enjoy science fiction, fantasy, sword and sorcery type films on a level of, Dune, Star Wars, Avatar, I think you're going to have a blast with it. It is PG-13. I would say it's a mild PG-13, but I disagree with a lot of the critics, and unfortunately I don't think the film is going to do very well, just based on the fact that it's only going to make around $30 million on opening weekend, which is sad. With the $250 million they spent making this movie, and between $100 and $150 million marketing it, you would think that there would be a little bit more interest in the film. But I don't blame the viewers, I don't blame the consumers, because it's a very hard film to market. But it's not a bad movie by any means. It was a great ride. It was just a really fun story. I don't want to give too much of the plot away of how does John Carter get to Mars. I can say that most people don't know it does open up in the 1800s. It does go from there into how he gets to Mars. And there's some really fun characters on Mars. There's some great voice acting. There's a dog that I think his name was Willow. It's kind of a chubby dog that it's an alien dog, but he was hilarious. He was one of the funny stars of the movie. So if you have any interest at all in seeing John Carter, go and see it. You'll have a great time. I give it a B+. And we've got more reviews coming that I'm behind on, so I'm going to get caught up on those. But check out John Carter. I think you'll like it.